Hi, Year 5, Lesson 17. So we are one away from the end of this unit, so just 2 lessons to go. Today, I really want you to think about all the things that you've learned so far in fractions, or certainly this week. That's going to come in really handy, so you need to apply your knowledge of what you've already done. Let's have a look at our in-focus task then. So each child had 1 whole and 2/3 of a mini cake rolls. Did they have more than 8 mini cake rolls altogether? So we've got our characters here, and you'll be delighted to know that I've actually found out their names. We've got Elliot, Emma, Hannah, Ravi, and Ruby. I'm getting there. And we need to work out if each of them had 1 whole and 2/3 of a cake. If we put them all together, would that equal more than 8 cakes? Okay. So I want you to start off by thinking about, will you be able to use bar models to solve this? We use bar models for lots of things, and if you can, what would that look like? So I want you to have a go now, and you're going to have a go and see if you can use bar models to actually solve this in-focus task. So I want to see drawings. We want to see drawings and we want to see calculations. So this is your drawing part of it. Can you show us using bar models what that would look like? So pause the video. Okay, well done, guys. So hopefully you have had a go at using bars. And I want you to think, do you agree that some of the bars would need to be cut and some wouldn't? And why might this be? So just think for yourself, if some of them aren't cut, why are they not cut? All right. Okay, so we're going to have a look at this in a bit more detail. If you want a bit more time, just have a go at working it out for yourself before we talk through it. Pause the video now. Okay, so if we look at this with bar models, this is how we could actually show it. So we know that each of our children has got a whole and 2/3. So this side here is showing the whole cake that they've got, and there are 5 of them because there's 5 children. Okay, and each of them's got a whole cake. So in total, that makes 5 whole cakes. And then we need to work on this bit, 2/3 of a cake. So on this side here, we've got our bar models this time have been split into thirds because we're thinking about thirds. That's our denominator. So it's split into thirds and we've got 2 shaded. So that's 2/3. And we got it 5 times, 5 lots of it, because we know that each child has got 2/3. This is Elliot's, this is Emma's, this is Hannah's, Ravi and Ruby. They've each got that and that. Okay. So we know that from previous work that we've done this week, we know that actually what we have to do is 2/3 multiplied by 5. And that will give us 10/3. Okay. So we're going to have a quick look at some different ways of how we might actually work that out all together, because different methods work for different people. So let's start off by looking at method 1, which is Ravi's method. Now this is how you're going to look at these 2 different methods in your workbook today. So it's important for you to understand what the 2 different methods are. So this one, Ravi's method, he thinks about doing, so if we were to split this into 3 parts, so we would have 3/3 here, 3/3 here, so we'd have 5 lots of 3/3. All right, so that's what this stands for, 3 multiplied by 3/3. Each of those, if we multiplied those together, we get 15/3. And then if we look at the fraction side of it, we've got 5 lots of 2/3, and we've just worked that out. We know that 5 times 2 is 10, and the denominator doesn't change. Okay, so underneath here, this is the bit that Ravi's method uses. Now, I don't know about you, but I actually don't think we need to do this bit here. I think that Ravi's right in saying, well, rather than saying 3/3, we could just say 5 lots of 1 is 5. We've got 5 whole cakes. That's actually quicker than converting it into a fraction and then having to convert it back into a mixed number. And then he's taken the other bit and he's converted his improper fraction into a mixed number here, which is 3 1/3. And then if we add them together, we know we've got 5 whole cakes here. And then the 2/3 part, when we put them all together, makes 3 whole cakes plus 1/3. So 5 add 3 is 8, and then we've got another third. So it's 8 and a third. So we could answer our question, but I just want you to quickly have a look at Ruby's method as well. So Ruby's method, she has done 1 whole and 2/3 is the equivalent of 5/3, because we know that 1 whole is 3/3 plus another 2/3 is going to make 5/3. So she's converted it all into an improper fraction first, and then she's multiplied that all together by the 5 to get 25/3. And then when you convert that, you say how many 3's go into 25? There would be 3 whole, and I've made a mistake here. Look, let's change that. 1/3, because that's actually 24 thirds make 5 whole. Sorry, 8 whole, and then we've got 1/3 left over. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Right, that's 8 whole cakes, and then because it's 25, it's another third left over. So both of those are different options that you can use for working out. Now what I want to do is just come back today to looking at the explanation. Okay, so you need to make sure that you actually answer the question. So they had more than 8 cakes altogether. 1 and 2/3 multiplied by 5 is equal to 8 and 1/3, which is 1/3 more than 8. Now I haven't written it on here because I've already shown it, but I would like to see a calculation. So when we're doing our in focus task, it's really important that we actually see the calculation there. Okay, right, so that's what you're going to be working on today. So this is your guided practice. Find the value of the following. So you can show us how you would like to. You can choose your own method for these two here. Number 2, it's given you the bar model. So we've got 1 whole and 3/4. And it's asking you for method 1 and method 2. So think about the methods that we've just shown you. And then you've got your number 3 there. Then your workbook is pages 154 to 155. Don't worry about that. That's just my house about to burn down. That's the oven going off. I'll tend to that in a moment. So it's got Ravi and Ruby's methods there. So it's asking you to show both. All right. So sometimes you might find that one method is easier than the other for different questions. Right, let's have a look at the extension task today. So this is actually not carrying on with mixed numbers. This is going back to what we've done the previous 2 lessons on Monday and Tuesday. And this is thinking about reasoning. So I really want you to think about these 3. These are 3 separate tasks. You might not get around to doing all of them. Just pick one at a time, have a go, and if you have time, you can move on to the next one. This always, sometimes, and never. So we always say, is it always true? Is it sometimes true? So sometimes it's yes and sometimes it isn't. Or is it never true? Okay, so read that and have a go at that. And then Maths Teasers group, I'd like you, if you have time, to try and push yourselves on to this extra extension here. So you've got 2 more. And of course, everybody can have a go at that, because we always say, if you're able to, you can move on to that task as well. So all the answers that you need are going to be on the tapestry post. So make sure that you check your answers before you move on. Check your guided practice before you move on to workbook, and so do the same with your workbook, and then have a go at this. And beware that the answers to these 2 tasks are at the end of the page. So don't whiz on, make sure that you check for them. You answer them before you check them. Okay, have fun, guys.